The woman who is slowly destroying you is probably the last person anyone would ever warn you about. She does not raise her voice. She does not embarrass you in public. She does not look cruel. She looks like everything you have ever wanted. She is warm. She listens. She tells you that you are different from every other man she has ever known. She makes you feel chosen. And that is exactly what makes her so dangerous. Because the signs are not written on her face. They are written in how you feel when she leaves the room. They are written in the version of yourself you have quietly become since she arrived. I am going to show you 7 signs you are dating a narcissistic woman, and I need you to stay until sign 7. Not because it is the most dramatic, but because sign 7 is the one that is not about her at all. It is about what she has already done to your mind. And by the time this video ends, there is a very strong chance you will look back at the last few months of your life and finally understand what has been happening to you. Before we start, let me destroy the biggest mistake most men make when they hear the word narcissist. They picture someone loud, someone obviously selfish, someone who brags constantly and treats people like objects and makes it easy to walk away. That version of a narcissistic woman exists, but she is not the dangerous one. The dangerous one makes you feel like the luckiest man alive for at least the first few months. She is the woman your friends liked, the woman your mother approved of, the woman who seemed too good to be real. And that is the part nobody tells you. Because by the time the real pattern shows itself, you are already deeply attached. You are already defending her to the people who are starting to worry about you. The first sign is one you have experienced but probably never named. Think about the last time you tried to share something heavy with her. Not a small complaint, something real, something that genuinely hurt you. You started talking. You were maybe 3 or 4 sentences in, and then, without any visible effort, the conversation shifted. Suddenly, her feelings were on the table, her pain, her stress, her version of a harder experience, and you stopped talking about yourself because it felt selfish not to. You walked away from that conversation thinking you had both shared something. But here's the truth. You got nothing. A narcissistic woman does not share emotional space. She absorbs it. Every conversation you try to make about yourself becomes a mirror that reflects only her. And the terrifying part is, she does it so naturally that you think she is just expressive. You never realize the room was designed to have only one center. The second sign is where things start to feel genuinely confusing. Think about your last real argument. Now think about how it ended. I am willing to bet you apologized. And I am also willing to bet that even as you said the words, something inside you was not entirely sure what you were apologizing for. A narcissistic woman never loses an argument. Not because she is always right, but because she changes the rules mid-game. She rewrites what was said. She brings up something you did 6 weeks ago to prove a point about right now. She cries at exactly the moment when you are about to make your strongest point, and suddenly you are comforting the person who started the fight. You end up standing in your own living room, apologizing, genuinely confused about how you got there. And the next morning she acts completely normal, as if nothing happened, as if you both just resolved something together. You did not. You just surrendered, and she filed it away. The third sign feels like love at first. She wants to know where you are. She wants to be included in everything. She gets hurt when you make plans without her. And in the beginning, it feels like she just really cares about you deeply. But at some point, the warmth behind the attention disappears, and only the monitoring remains. She texts you while you are at work, not to check in, but to check up. She goes through your phone and calls it honesty. She gets genuinely upset when you see your friends and frames it as you choosing them over her. Every week feels like a test you did not sign up for. And here's the part that should alarm you. There is no score high enough to pass permanently. You could skip every event, cancel every plan, give her every free hour of your life, and there would still be a reason to question your loyalty. Because this is not about love. This is about control. And control never has an ending point. The fourth sign is the reason so many men stay. She does not only criticize you, that would be too obvious. Sometimes she makes you feel extraordinary. She tells you that you are unlike any man she has ever been with. She says things about you that make you feel seen in a way you have never felt before. And it is intoxicating. But watch the timing. Those moments of pure warmth almost always arrive right before she needs something significant from you. Or right after she has done something that hurt you badly and she needs to pull you back before you get enough distance to see clearly. Psychologists who study this call it intermittent reinforcement. Random rewards mixed with unpredictable coldness create the strongest psychological attachment the human brain is capable of forming. You are not addicted to her. You are addicted to the relief of getting her approval after she has taken it away. That feeling is not love. It is survival. The fifth sign is the slowest and the most permanent in its damage. Ask yourself right now, honestly, how often you see the people who knew you before this relationship. The friends who used to call every week, the family members who always had an opinion about who you were dating. Think about whether they feel closer or further away than they did 18 months ago. If your honest answer is further, I need you to understand something important. That distance was not an accident. A narcissistic woman is not threatened by your past. She is threatened by the people who can read your present clearly. So she works quietly. A small comment about your closest friend planted at exactly the right moment. A visible tension every time your mother is around. A subtle guilt that follows every evening you spend without her. She never tells you to stop seeing them. She simply makes the cost of seeing them high enough that you eventually choose the easier option. And now the only consistent voice in your life is hers. The sixth sign is the one that most men never connect until years later when they are looking back. Most people assume that the person who loves them will be their loudest supporter. That when they are working towards something important, the person closest to them will push them forward. A narcissistic woman cannot do that. Not because she does not care about you, but because your success is a direct threat to the dynamic she has built. A successful, confident man is harder to control. So she does not attack your goals directly. She is far too precise for that. She picks the most significant fight of the month, the night before your most important opportunity. She brings up your deepest insecurity right before the moment you need to feel strongest. She makes you feel guilty for every extra hour you pour into building something for yourself. You start to believe you are someone who always falls apart under pressure. You never noticed that she was standing right behind you every single time. And now we arrive at sign 7, the one I told you to stay for. This sign is different from every other one on this list because it is not just about her behavior. It is about what that behavior has done to your ability to trust yourself. It is called gaslighting. And a narcissistic woman does it so quietly and so consistently that you will begin to doubt your own memory. She says something that cuts you deeply. You bring it up later, and she looks at you with complete stillness and tells you that never happened. She tells you that you said the opposite of what you know you said. She tells you that you always do this, that you are too sensitive, that you make everything harder than it needs to be. And at first you push back. You know what you remember. But after enough repetition, something shifts. You stop bringing things up because you are afraid of being wrong again. You stop trusting the gut feeling that used to guide you. You stop believing that your instincts are reliable. And that is the most important moment in this entire relationship. Not for her, for you. Because a man who no longer trusts himself does not need to be controlled. He controls himself on her behalf without even knowing it. Here is what I want you to walk away understanding. Recognizing these 7 signs is not about building a case against her. It is not about deciding she is evil or that the relationship was nothing. It is about something far more important than that. It is about getting yourself back. Because somewhere between the first sign and the 7th, you stopped being fully yourself. You started managing your emotions around her reactions. You started editing what you said before you said it. You started measuring your own experiences through her approval. And that man, the one doing all of that measuring and managing, is not who you actually are. He is who this dynamic created. If you recognized yourself in even 3 of these signs, that recognition alone is significant. Talk to someone outside of this relationship, a friend who knew you before, a therapist who understands emotional patterns. Start paying attention to how you feel, not while you are with her, but in the hours after. Because the truth about who you are with someone is almost never found in the moments together. It is found in the quiet that follows. If this video reached something real inside you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for a person you care about is hand them the clarity they have been too close to find on their own.